Hello friends and followers, welcome back to Phoenix Studios. I'm Phoenix. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and do yourself a favor and click the subscribe button. Stay up to date on drawing tutorials, painting demonstrations, and I will be announcing some prize giveaways in the near and upcoming future. So in today's demonstration, I wanted to do a tribute to DMX, who just recently passed away. DMX was a huge icon and legend in the hip-hop culture. And I wanted to go ahead and do this tribute to him and try out some new techniques on this piece. So I started out by putting in the background using some reds and yellows. Then I transferred my sketch onto the canvas. Then I went ahead and started mixing up the colors and the values that I'm going to be using for the skin tones. If you've seen any of my drawing tutorials, you'll notice at the beginning of each video I make a value scale using same pencil or varying pencils and applying different pressure in order to get very dark values and very light values. So I wanted to go ahead and do that with the palette as well. And so I mixed up 5 different values of brown that I would use for the skin tones. The darkest brown, I would use it for the darkest shadows on the subject, and the lightest values would be my highlights. And I also mixed up some titanium white with a little bit of brown in order to make my brightest highlights. So I started with the eyes. I figured they would be the most difficult portion of the piece. And I just started layering in different values of brown, putting in some of the darker values in the deepest shadows of the picture, and then transitioning those out to lighter values of brown. I worked wet on wet here. I'd use some dark brown paint and then come in with a lighter brown and transition that into the previous color. Now sometimes it would dry before I'd have a chance to come back in and work it, and I'd have to re-add some of the original value so that I could transition that into the lighter browns. And I did use a reference photo for this, and I used a filter on the reference photo in order to make it black and white so that I could reduce the image to its most pure values and pay attention to the shadows and the highlights more than the actual tones themselves. I wanted to create my own values and tones. So working on this eye, in order to add depth to it and dimension, I'm just using my values and placing lighter values next to darker values to create the shape and the depth rather than painting out the shape of the object. Just continue to layer and layer more and more values of brown, different hues, and transition those in until it looks like it has the proper shape and tone to my eye. Here I'm adding in the shadows where the bottom of the jawline meets the neck, as well as the collarbone area. And I'm just bringing in some darker values of brown. I don't actually use any black on this piece. The dark values that look black are actually brown mixed with a little bit of primary blue, and it creates those dark values, and those dark values of brown next to the lighter values of brown will actually give it that dark black appearance. For the chain, I used a paint marker, and I just add these highlights where they go after I have layered in those previous values of brown. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. As always, I appreciate your support. If you're a fan of DMX or a fan of the painting, go ahead and give this video a like. Let's try to get as many likes on this video as we can. And I look forward to our next session together. Stay tuned. I've got more projects in the works. Now it's your turn. Go create something.